Hello everyone. The next topic which we will be going to discuss is about the factors that affect the photosynthesis. So before the factors, we have to understand what is photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is a phytochemical process by which the photosynthetic organisms they use their light energy to derive the synthesis of organic compounds. So let's start with the first slide that what is photosynthesis and what is the formula for photosynthesis. So as I've already told you this definition, now photosynthesis is the process which is used by the plants, algae and certain bacteria to harness the energy from the sunlight and turn it into the chemical energy. So this is what the process of photosynthesis is. So what is required for the process of photosynthesis? There should be a carbon dioxide, H2O and light energy which is sunlight, and it will give rise to C6H12O6, that is sugar or glucose molecule, and they will produce the O2. So oxygen will be produced in the atmosphere. This is the byproduct of what is photosynthesis. So the byproducts of photosynthesis are glucose and oxygen. So what is happening in the process of photosynthesis? In the process of photosynthesis, the photosynthetic organisms, what they do is they first convert the energy into chemical energy, which is in the form of NADPH and ATP. And later they use these chemicals to reduce the CO2 into organic compounds, which is termed as the carbon dioxide fixation. So photosynthesis is the basis of life on earth because it is the primary source of food on the earth. So it is termed as the primary source of food on the earth because by the process of photosynthesis the plants make their own food, and the when the plants make their own food they develop, they will give us the fruits and things, and these plants are eaten by the animals and the animals and the human beings, and this is how the food cycle will develop. So the photosynthetically produced carbohydrates therefore serves as an energy source for the organisms, and they produce them as well as the non-photosynthetic organisms. They directly or indirectly consume these photosynthetic organisms. So this is what the basis of life, which is the photosynthesis. Next is how the process of photosynthesis is being taken place. So in the equation itself it was being depicted that there is a carbon dioxide molecule, there are water and there is a sunlight. So when these things that are required for the plant they are taken up by the plant, they will release the oxygen molecules and the sugars. So they will release the glucose and the oxygen, which is very essential for the survival of the plants, and it is the basics of the energy. Oxygen is being given by the plants into the atmosphere so that we can breathe in the oxygen. So this is how the process of photosynthesis works. Now photosynthesis is basically of two types, that is oxygenic and anoxygenic, and this is the basis of generation during the photosynthesis. So in oxygenic they are divided into eukaryotes and prokaryotes, and eukaryotes they are further divided into green plants and photosynthetic protists. So this was about the division that the photosynthesis has been characterized into two parts. Now, what are the factors that affect the process of photosynthesis? So there are total 9 factors which are being displayed here, that these are all responsible for the process of photosynthesis. So first is temperature. Temperature plays a great role in the process of photosynthesis. There is a carbon dioxide concentration, light, intensity, quality, there is a duration, oxygen, water. There are mineral elements. There are various mineral elements which are responsible for the process of photosynthesis. There are air pollutants also which plays a major role. There are chemical compounds. There are chlorophyll contents. Then there is a protoplasmic factor, accumulation of carbohydrates, and Black-Swan principle of limiting factors. So these all play a major role in the process of photosynthesis, directly or indirectly. So let's start. We will be discussing all of these factors in detail. So let's start with the first factor, that is the temperature. So the rate of photosynthesis is directly proportional to the temperature. For example, if the rate of photosynthesis increases, it will be due to the rise in the temperature. So as the temperature increases, the photosynthesis rate will also increases. So they are both directly proportional to each other. So what is the range at which these photosynthetic microorganisms or photosynthetic organisms depend on photosynthesis? So temperature range at which optimum photosynthesis can occur, they vary from the plant species. So there are different plants according to which the temperature could be different. Here we have taken an example that lichens can photosynthesize at 20 degrees Celsius, while conifers can assimilate at 35 degrees Celsius. So they are different organisms and they work according to different temperature ranges. Now, if the temperature is very high, the very high temperature, it will lead to the inactivation of the enzymes and it will affect the enzymatically controlled dark reactions of the photosynthesis. So in very high temperatures also the plants will not be able to do the process of photosynthesis. It will lead to the dark reactions in the process of photosynthesis. So this is how a temperature can play a role, or temperature is a factor of photosynthesis which can play a role in the photosynthesis process. Now next is about the carbon dioxide concentration. So nearly 0.032% by volume of carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere, and at its low level it acts as a limiting factor. So as it was displayed in the diagram also, that or equation, it was also displayed in the equation also, that we require the molecules of CO2 and water and light. These are the main factors which is responsible for the photosynthesis, and that will give rise to the glucose molecule or sugar molecule and the oxygen. Glucose and oxygen. So this was the equation. So carbon dioxide concentration is always an essential part, and at low level it acts as a limiting factor. Now light, as displayed in the equation as well, the sunlight also plays a major role in the process of photosynthesis. Here the chlorophyll will trap the sunlight and they will help in the production of the food. So the chlorophyll is known as the kitchen of the cell. Why this is known as the kitchen of the cell? Because it will absorb the light and it will help in the production of food for the plant. So the photosynthetically active region of the spectrum of light is at wavelength 400 to 700 nanometers. So at this wavelength, the this is the basically active region of photosynthetically active regions of light. This is the wavelength. So what is green light? Green light plays an important role in the process of photosynthesis, and the green light is at 550 nanometer. So light supplies energy for the process. So light is the way in which it is light is the way in which the energy is being provided to the plants to do the process of photosynthesis. So green light is the most essential for the process of photosynthesis. Now if we talk about intensity, so when CO2 and temperature are not limiting and light intensities are low, the rate of photosynthesis increases with an increase in intensity. So this is also directly proportional to each other. So when the rate of photosynthesis will increase, there will be an increase in the intensity. So that is also important. This is also an important factor. So the rate of photosynthesis increases, the intensity also increases. Next is quality. The action spectrum for photosynthesis in leaves shows two major peaks. One is the red and other one is the blue. So these regions are the one where the chlorophyll will absorb the maximum light. So this is the one where chlorophyll absorbs the maximum light. As I have already told, the main function of the chlorophyll is to absorb the light. The chlorophyll color is green in color. It will absorb the light and and perform the major functions of the plants. Duration. So in general, a plant will accomplish more photosynthesis when exposed to long periods of time. So when a plant is being exposed to light for a longer period of time, then it will perform the photosynthesis. So it has been found that uninterrupted and continuous photosynthesis for relatively long periods of time may be sustained without any visible damage to the plant. So if there is an exposure of light for a longer duration of the time, then there will be no physical damage, because the plant will perform the photosynthesis process and it will make the food for the plant, and it will release the sugar and the oxygen to the atmosphere. Now, oxygen. Oxygen is the end product of the process of photosynthesis. So, the rate of photosynthesis increases by 30 to 50% when the concentration of oxygen in air is reduced from 20% to 0.5%, and CO2, light and temperature are not the limiting factors here. So, all these contribute to the process of photosynthesis. So, it increases by 30 to 50% when the concentration of oxygen in air is reduced. Water. Water, if we see the equation, there is a CO2 molecule, then there is water and the light, which is the main factor which plays an important role in the process of photosynthesis. So it is an essential raw material in the carbon assimilation, and it has been seen that less than 1% of the water which has been absorbed by the plant is used in the process of photosynthesis. As the water content decreases of the soil from the field capacity to the permanent wilting point, it results in the decrease of photosynthesis. So it is also directly proportional. As the water content decreases, the process of photosynthesis will also be decreased. Mineral elements. There are various mineral elements that are responsible for the plant growth. For example, there are macronutrients that are present in larger amount in case of the plants, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, and there are micronutrients which are present in very low amount in case of the plants. So a mineral element always plays an important role in the process of in the growth and development of a plant. So these includes magnesium, iron, copper, chlorine, manganese, phosphorus, and are they closely associated with the reactions of photosynthesis. So if these elements will not be present, there will be some of the deficiency factors in case of the plants. So these all are very important and they are closely related to the reactions of the photosynthesis. Air pollutants. There are gaseous and metallic pollutants which decrease the photosynthetic activity. So these will include the ozone layer, the SO2, oxidants, and hydrogen fluorides, etc. So if the number of pollutants is very high in case of the gaseous or in the metallic pollutants, then it will lead to the decrease in the activity of the photosynthesis. For example, in soil, the metal toxicity is too high, then it will lead to the decrease in the photosynthesis activity. Chemical compounds. So compounds like HCN, H2S, when they are present in small quantities, they depress the rate of photosynthesis by inhibiting the enzymes. So in addition, chloroform, ether, etc., they also stop photosynthesis, and effect is reversible at the low concentration. So at higher concentration, the cell will die. The higher the chemical compound in the case of plants or in the case of soil, there will be no photosynthesis because the cells will start dying at that stage. So it will stop the photosynthesis, and effect is reversible at the low concentration. So if the concentration of the chemical compound is low in the case of soil, then photosynthetic activity will be done, but if it is high, then the plants will die. Then what about the chlorophyll content? The leaves which is having the high chlorophyll content, they do not photosynthesize rapidly because they lack certain enzymes or coenzymes, and they used to use the products of the light reactions to reduce the available CO2. So this is what happens when there is a high chlorophyll amount. So when there is a high chlorophyll amount, the energy consumption will be very more, and the enzymes that are required for this process will not be there. They lack the enzymes. So this is what happens when the chlorophyll content is very high. Now the protoplasmic factor. So besides the chlorophyll, there are certain protoplasmic factors that affect the rate of photosynthesis, that affect the dark reactions. So it is has been shown that these factors, they are present in young stage and develop as the seedling becomes old. So this is the factor which is absent in the young stage, and it develops when a seedling is becoming old. So these protoplasmic factors appear to be at the enzymatic level and is indicated by the fact the capacity for photosynthesis is lost at temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius. So we have already discussed this, the temperatures play a major role in the process of photosynthesis. So when the capacity for photosynthesis is lost at temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius or strong light intensities in many plants, even though cells are green and living. So this is where the role of protoplasmic factors come in. Now the accumulation of the carbohydrates. So accumulation of the carbohydrates will not translocate or slows down and finally stops this process. So when there is a high accumulation of carbohydrates, it may finally stop this process. So the accumulated product increase the rate of respiration. So this accumulated product will increase the rate of respiration. Sugar is always converted into starch, and the accumulation of starch in chloroplasts reduces their effective surfaces and the process slows down. So this is what happens when there is an accumulation of starch or carbohydrates. They reduce the effective surface and process gets slows down. So the process will slows down or it finally stops the process. This is the last factor but not the least. So it is the Blacksman principle of limiting factor. So we have taken an example on this factor. What is the example? For example, we take a leaf which is subjected to a light intensity which is sufficient to decompose the 5 cc of CO2 per hour, and only 1 cc of the gas is available. So photosynthesis will continue at a certain rate since light intensity is not a limiting factor. So this is what is a Blackman's principle of limiting factor, where photosynthesis will continue at a certain rate, but light intensity is not the limiting factor here. So this was all about the factors of the photosynthesis, and these are some of the references.